Hello, everybody. Today, Group 1 will be presenting marketing on Twitter, which is also known as X.
First, we need to talk about 3 facts about X. First, there are more than 229 million daily active users. Second, 59.2% of users are in between the ages of 25 and 49. And lastly, 74% of users on X use it for entertainment purposes. And these facts are important for what we're about to talk next. So you can paid for sponsor ads on X, and as we see in these images over here, it's easy to identify a post that's been sponsored because it says ad at the top right of the post, which means the company paid for the post to be there. Also, if you notice, companies use action calls that relate to the conversion that they're looking for. So for example, on the left in Fox Sports, it's a video, so their action call is for you to watch the video because they're looking for more viewers, while on the right, the company is looking for you to download their app, so their action call is to download the app. And then lastly, it's interesting to see how these companies trace their consumers and target the ads to them, because on the left, as you can see, the ad is on Spanish, and I speak Spanish, and that's why the ad targeted me. And on top of that, clearly I looked at a lot of soccer things because right underneath is a soccer post. So you can see that they did their job in targeting a specific audience. And now let's talk about how some companies use Twitter to market. And the company I chose to speak about is McDonald's, because they do a very good job. As you can see in this post on the right, they don't post anything about McDonald's or their menu or anything like that. They just post funny content that's relatable, and they look for consumers to share it and interact with it. It's very informal on the way they communicate, and as you can see, it is a correct understanding of the audience and the purpose for people using this platform. Here's another example of the content being funny and relatable, and they pay a lot of attention to detail, because if you see, the post is talking about how Grimace can't type or can't really push the buttons on the Xbox controller, and the caption of the picture reflects that, because there's a lot of typos and mistakes on the spelling of it. You can also see how they use Twitter to collaborate with other brands such as Xbox, and internally, probably this post is being sponsored by Xbox. So internally, probably Xbox is paying McDonald's to create this content, although it's not sponsored through X. Now here's another strategy. As you can see, there's interactive content, a little bit more direct in this time, where they have a poll going on for consumers to interact with their content, and they're looking for consumer feedback. And another great way they're using marketing is through mentioning others, which in return creates a higher reach. So as you can see in this post, they tagged race car driver Bubba Wallace, and obviously that not only involves McDonald's followers, but also his followers. So then the reach is way higher.
All right, so I will be discussing different airline strategies and how they effectively utilize Twitter for marketing purposes. So the 4 strategies that I've highlighted are: they should promote new products or services, they should join in on current conversations and topics, they should drive clicks to their websites, or they should launch a new promotion. All right, so let's dive into like what each of the different strategies are with examples. So the first strategy is airlines should promote new products or services. A great way to cut through the noise and grab attention is with a new service or product. So in this example, Ireland's national airline used a video to promote their launch of 4 new routes from Manchester's airport. So as you can see, in the tweet, that they added New York, Orlando, Barbados, and then Boston as well. And then at the bottom, they have a video that will just show like all the new places that they will be traveling to. And then also for video ads, airlines should make sure to include clear branding within the first 3 seconds of the ad. Video ads with clear logo placement will increase brand memory by 30%. All right, so next, airlines should be joining in on conversations around current cultural topics. So Twitter is where the people who are creating cultural conversations and trends are gathered. Embracing culture by staying current is how your brand remains relevant. So, for example, this Spanish hotel chain has a connection to an airline, and they told their audience that their employees are receiving COVID vaccinations. Also, in the next slide, airlines shouldn't be afraid to show their personality when it comes to cultural topics. So, in this example, a UK traveler agency has some fun by using a Friends GIF during the buzz around this reunion special. So the tweet reads, "That happiest moment when you have booked your holiday with Travel Center underscore UK and you're excited to travel with your best buds." And then they added like a GIF there as well. So just don't be afraid to show your personality. All right. So as another marketing strategy, airlines should be driving their tweets that leads them to their website. So when sending people to your chosen landing page on your website, make sure it's somewhere they can take clear action, such as signing up for the newsletter or making a purchase. And in this example here, it's a Spanish airline, which is known as Venter, and they use a website card to drive audience to their website. The card clicks to a blog post on their website about planning a trip this summer with a clickable link within the text to book flights right away. So all in all, sending your followers to your website will give them the opportunity to spend more time connecting to your brand and seeing what all you have to offer. And lastly, airlines should be open to launching new promotions. So, showcasing a limited time offer can entice followers to engage in the special or new audience to hit follow in hopes of catching your next limited offer. So, for this example, it's a tweet from Luxair, which was in 2021 after COVID numbers started to decrease. And this was during the time when people were eager to start traveling again. And Luxair was very strategic in launching this promotion because they did it during a time when audience was open to hearing about, the new opportunities to travel again. So that caused the promotion to be successful. And those are the 4 strategies airlines use to market itself on Twitter.
So with influencer marketing on Twitter, there is a saturation of advertisements. So to get more people to see your advertisements, it's a good idea to use influencers who already have a massive backing. Many people are using ad blockers, so sideline ads that companies would put out on Twitter or other platforms aren't being noticed as much because they are being blocked. To combat this, companies hire influencers to create posts which cannot really be blocked if you're following that influencer. So the best way to go about influencer marketing is to know what influencers would identify with your brand. So there are beauty influencers, there are food influencers. It's a very broad market. There are sports influencers. You just have to find who would relate to your brand best and then go from there. Now with follower counts, it always seems like someone who would have more followers, you would have a wider reach and therefore be more successful with the advertisement, but that's not always true. Many small influencers can have moments where posts go viral out of nowhere. So always consider your smaller influencers in tangent with your larger influencers, and allow creative freedom. The people who have become influencers online know what their audiences want, and they can kind of curate to their audience in a way that your brand may not be able to do without that understanding. And always remember to track your metrics, because you do not want to be throwing money at influencers without it actually profiting your brand. So smaller influencers who may have smaller following, these can include influencers like the Morel twins and Chloe Kim. The Morel twins post a lot of family-friendly content, and you can see here in this post where they are promoting Barefoot Dreams blanket and loungewear, that it's really just promoting, hey, I'm using this. This is what works for my family. And that's kind of their angle. Now with Chloe Kim, she is a sports influencer and snowboarder. And this influencer ad that was created is in collaboration with Grubhub specifically. And Grubhub teamed up with Chloe Kim and a few other sports influencers within her realm to create this almost commercial type ad that's only about a minute long to promote Grubhub. Now, your larger influencers, these are often celebrities or just really any influencers that have over a few million followers. Typically, brands don't have to do as much work with these influencers and the curation of these posts. So you look at Kim Kardashian's post here announcing the Marc Jacobs fall line. All she had to do was post a couple pictures of her interacting with the brand, just even the first picture, just their name. And you can see here we have 800 comments, 2,000 reposts, and 27,000 likes. So with larger influencers, the price will be higher per post, but the reach can be greater in some cases, and there is less work from the brand itself.
So we often think of business and celebrities as influencers, but we seldom think about the pharmaceutical business side of needing influencers in the marketplace. And so doctors as influencers. And as you notice that the first one is a breast cancer specialist, Dr. Tita Powell, who basically has 61,000 followers on X and predominantly shares updates on topics like breast cancer and clinical trials and neoplasm and chemotherapy that broaden, but it also influences that most of their work is underwritten by pharmaceutical companies to reach out to folks to, just like you see ads on television, wanting to hawk the latest and greatest medicines available to it. The other one is a professor of medicine at Mayo Clinic who predominantly tweets his 79,000 followers about topics such concerning medicine that Mayo Clinic pushes out, which is a globally known medical provider with multiple campuses around the United States, as well as influences in the world. We see that medicine as a business, but often these influencers have a wider reach than pharmaceutical advertising, just as Hannah mentioned that folks use ad blockers, people have commercial-free TV, so social media influencers that are respected professionals in their fields can also serve as an intermediary between a pharmaceutical company, a medical provider, or other things in the healthcare field. Politicos as influencers. And for the example of this, I chose President Barack Obama, not that he is necessarily selling anything, but he is certainly one of the first to embrace inside the White House both smartphones and social media. And we know that he regularly uses that. He takes stands on issues of social importance, but he also, shares his view. He shares influences on what's going on in his family. And on the infamous side, we also know that there's a president who often took much criticism for his use of Twitter in the form of Donald Trump. Politicos also serve as a business outlet, as that they are usually trying to raise money. President Obama is no longer in office, so you don't see that as much with him, but you certainly see in the many folks that are about to launch presidential candidacies in the upcoming presidential race that you, through X and other social media platforms if they are continuously using that to reach folks that may, again, be using non-commercial streaming, and they may be using ad blockers to not be reached in traditional mechanisms.